dolls!
Hey guys, so I'm back as promised with a video on how to hopefully fix Madeline Hatter's crazy hair. So as you guys may have seen in my unboxing video for Madeline Hatter, I was not too thrilled about this sponge-like, impenetrable, very rough and hard textured hair that she came with. I did read about it on some of the reviews, but I had high hopes that it was more like the product image and not like this. So I'm going to attempt to fix it. It might not be, and it most likely won't be as the product image showed, which was light and airy and fluffy, but I'm gonna do my best to get it at least better. So first thing I did was I took out my cheese silk infusion in hopes that it might be able to soften some of this synthetic hair, or at least make it a little more manageable. But before I use the silk infusion, I'm going to rinse out her hair and try to loosen those strands up and get it less clumpy and matted together. So I wrapped her up in a towel so her nice beautiful clothes don't get all soaked. Pulled the sponge out and rinsed it off. I just used basic cold water, nothing warm or too hot, because I don't want to do any damage. I am collecting the dolls as well as playing with them, so I want them to stay in beautiful condition. So I just worked my fingers through her hair as the water ran over it, just to loosen things up. It is very thick hair, so you want to kind of get your fingers in there and make sure you work through it. The teal part of the hair was not very absorbent. The purple part did seem to be a lot softer and took to the water, but the teal part did not. It just kind of loosened it up, but it didn't absorb in, so it still retained a lot of the frizz. However, as you guys can see, it doesn't have that same clumped together look as it did before. I'm now able to work my fingers through and actually spread apart the strands of hair and loosen it up and make it a little more full and fluffy. And there is a lot of hair, let me tell you. She has very thick hair. After I worked my fingers through it, I went ahead and rinsed it off again just to loosen it up even more so. Because again, it is very thick. It doesn't take to the teal color as well, so you're gonna need a lot of rinse and repeat here. Working your fingers through, rinsing it off, working your fingers through, and rinsing it off. So here it is, fresh out of the water. Now I'm going to apply that silk infusion that I had before. I'm gonna put just a little bit in my hand, rub it together, and work it through her hair. Now I will say silk infusion is quite expensive, so don't run out and get it just for the purpose of this doll, only if you intend to use it on your actual hair after, because it is something that is pricey and not worth it just for this. So I use it just to kind of scrunch her hair up and see if any of it would absorb. Now I will say the teal did not seem to absorb. Another thing, don't do what I just did and try to brush it, because it ended up pulling more of her hair out than doing good. So definitely stick to finger combing only. So after I let the silk infusion sit for a little bit, just to see if I could soften up some of that synthetic hair, I went ahead and rinsed it back out again. After that, I got some Color Protection Moisturizing Conditioner in hopes to give it just a little bit more manageability and maybe tame that frizz down. So what I did here was I took just little strands of hair at a time. Instead of actually working through the whole big clump of hair at once, I worked it through little pieces at a time. Now, as you guys can see, it does look like it's taking a bit of an effect here. I do see less frizz on the pieces that I'm working with. You'll want to make sure you keep the hair wet despite it not really taking in a lot of that water moisture. You're still going to want to keep doing that, because as you can see in the back of her head, it does get super frizzy really quick versus the parts that I'm working on now that have a lot of conditioner and are moist. I wrap the strands around my finger just to kind of tighten up those curls and give it a little more bounce. I'm going to hopefully keep my fingers crossed that the curls stay and don't just fall out flat. So I'm doing this throughout the entire head. I have her hair, as you can see, kind of fanned out. That really helps due to the amount of layering she has in her hair and thickness. Again, as you can see, as I'm wrapping my finger around the dry strands, it doesn't do that much. So you'll definitely want to learn from my mistake here and keep the hair wet. It's a very tedious process, but you'll want to keep running her hair under the sink. It really makes a big difference. And then again, just finger comb everything out. Finger comb all the way around, because any areas where you leave those matted clumps is gonna stay poofy and it's not gonna work very well or take to any of the stuff you put in her hair. So as you can see, guys, it is looking a little more full and fluffy, except for in the back there where it's like a monster. It's really bad still in the back, so we're gonna rinse it again. We're gonna work out some of that conditioner, but I'm not gonna rinse it too much to where all of the conditioner completely rinses out, because I do want to get that kind of textured effect after where it holds the curls in place. So I'm just gonna work out a lot of the back hair. A lot where it was still poofy and frizzy. It does seem almost like they damaged the hair intentionally, the synthetic strands, because it is not coming out at the bottom. The upper part of the hair seems to be taking, whereas the bottom part is just holding on to this damaged looking frizz. And even underneath you can see the purple gets those nice curls going, but the teal is just an absolute mess. So I'm gonna do is I am going to actually use detangling spray for kids. It's something I wanted to try. I didn't know if it was gonna work, but you know what? It actually worked better than anything else I tried. This stuff you can get at Walmart. It's only a couple of dollars, very cheap, and it actually took to the hair better than anything else. So what I did, I took very small strands and I completely just saturated it really heavily, because once again, that teal area does not take well to any type of liquids or moisture. So as you can see here, I'm actually starting to make some progress now. It's looking much better. The frizz has gone down and it's actually starting to look where it has waves and curls in her hair. So again, you want to completely saturate as you're doing it, because you're going to need a lot. Plan on using a good amount of the bottle on this because it doesn't hold well. So you want to do it, let it set, do it again, and then finally you'll start noticing that she does start getting those waves and those curls. So I'm just gonna fan it out and work my fingers through again. You want to definitely keep working your fingers through as you go, because that pulls the detangling spray through the hair and kind of helps, especially on those edges, because the end of her hair is just so damaged and frizzy. So here you guys can see it's actually looking curly and wavy and with body. That is so much better than it was. Oh my gosh, it's no longer a sponge. She actually has a poof now. And one thing I like is that I know I'm not gonna get it perfectly like the product images show, where it's just these nice, bountiful, beautiful, spiraling curls. I do kind of like it has that Mad Hatter appearance to it. It's kind of wild and very thick and has a lot of body in it. As you can see here in the back, there is still some frizz, so I'm going to probably work on that a little later. Now, because her hair is short, as you just saw on the product image, I can get away with cutting off a little of this frizz on the ends, because there seems to be nothing I can do here to tame this. I mean, it is absolutely like a damaged plastic synthetic feeling, piece of hair. So I'm just gonna take a little bit off the end and kind of level it out, because it does seem, I don't know if it's from me pulling through some of the curls, but it does seem to be uneven. So I'm just gonna take the ends off, because those seem to be the worst that I cannot get under control, and just kind of clean it up a little bit. Hopefully this will also add some more body to give her hair that wild, crazy, Mad Hatter look. Mad tea. I have no idea what I was talking about there. I think I'm going a little mad. Anyway, so it's a little lopsided, and you gotta be careful because her head does try to tilt due to the hat. So you wanna make sure you kind of adjust that from time to time so you don't cut it uneven. And I am by no means a hairstylist, so this is probably a very choppy job, but you know what? It's gonna look better than it was. So as you can see, it's already looking so much better. So much cleaner than it was. It has way less frizz on those ends now. She's looking quite fabulous, if I do say so myself. So now I'm just gonna clean it up. I noticed a couple little uneven sides from her head tipping to the side. She's still very thick and very frizzy, so I am, again, after this video, I am gonna probably go ahead and go through again with the detangling spray. But it has made a world of difference so far. It's made it more manageable to get my fingers through. It's held on. This is a few minutes after spraying it, and she still has those curls. She still has that body going. So it definitely has stayed. It hasn't dried out or gotten any worse. So I'm definitely gonna keep up with that. It's looking wonderful. I'm going to, hopefully, if I go through a lot of the layers, hopefully I'll be able to tame a lot more of that frizz down, but I don't think a little bit of the frizz is bad. Again, it kind of has that Mad Hatter crazy look to it. So I hope you guys like it. This is it, guys. She looks so much better than before. Look at that. Absolutely fabulous. Now I can actually be proud to put her on my shelf and play with her and enjoy. She looks like Madeline Hatter now. I'm super excited at how it turned out. Hope you guys like it. Hope you guys love the process. Again, you can simplify it by taking out some of the steps and just going straight to the detangling spray because that did work the best. But again, you are going to have that process of wanting to rinse her hair out, work it through, rinse and work it through a few times due to how clumpy and matted it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys like the way she looks and think she looks as beautiful as I do. So, bye-bye, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to subscribe. There's lots more to come along with cool stories and original songs.